So I'm Michael Cochran with the Evangelical Presbyterian Church in England and Wales, and also with Gospel Reformation UK. So what we have for you is a presentation by the Rev Andy Stelmasiak, who's been commissioned by the EPCEW for a new church plant in Poland, in the city of Lublin. So I'll let him take it away with the presentation, and I'll see you at the end.
So what you see here is a picture of Lublin, taken, well, what we call an old town. That's one of the most original parts of the city. Poland. So Poland is actually the most central of all the Central European countries. I only say that because if you want to insult a Pole, just say that he or she is from Eastern Europe, and I will be like, no, we will never be friends. So yeah, Poland is surrounded to the left, Germany, south, Czech Republic and Slovakia, and then east is Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, and that little yellow bit here is Russia, which should never happen in the first place. And across the Baltic Sea, there are Scandinavian countries. Famous Poles, Copernicus, Renaissance polymath. So back home we have a saying that he is the one who stopped the sun and moved the earth. Chopin, a great composer from the 19th century. Maria Skłodowska-Curie, she had an amazing mind, I think that she is the very first not just woman, but actually either male or female, who within a decade won a Nobel Prize in 2 different sciences. 1902 physics, 1908 chemistry. Amazing mind. But also famous Poles. John Paul II, we wouldn't necessarily see with him eye to eye on some issues. Well, I've been here in Britain for 15 years, and I've learned that if you want to express something extreme, you just use understatement. But also, there are some people with whom we would see eye to eye. At the time of Reformation, this man on the left, John Alasko, or Jan Łaski as he is called in Polish, he is well recognized as somebody who is most responsible for geographical spread of the Reformation. So, Calvin and others were responsible for the depth. Not that he wasn't doing anything that field as well, but Poland, Germany, Holland, and England. So he was invited by Thomas Cranmer to help with organizing the Church of England. But also he was pastoring what was called the Strangers' Church in London. And why this is significant? Well, that church was combined out of foreigners, so Polish, German, Dutch, and that church kind of gave a precedence in our consciousness that there can be a legally existing church which is not answerable to Canterbury, okay? And that church was organized according to Presbyterian principles. Zacharias Ursinus. I know that the name can sound a little bit strange, but have you ever heard of Heidelberg Catechism? Yeah. So what is the first question of the Heidelberg Catechism? What is my only comfort in life and death? You know this question. When he was writing Heidelberg Catechism, do you know what kind of other catechisms he had on his desk? Łaski's Catechism, which he wrote for London Church. Yeah, famous Poles. Now, 1573, that's a map of how Poland looked like. In 1570, that's the time, that's a map from the time of Reformation. There are different colors here on the map. And green is Eastern Orthodoxy, and that's largely today Ukraine and Belarus. Blue is Lutherans. That's today's Estonia. Beige is Roman Catholicism, and that's most of Poland. But that purple is the Reformed, and at the very center of that is Lublin. Now, why do I say that? Because it's not that Andy moved to England and he spent there 15 years or so, and he learned some foreign faith, and now he came back and he's trying to introduce us to some foreign stuff. No, this is the faith of our fathers. It's very important to stress that. Today, so Lublin is in what we call Eastern Poland, and Eastern Poland is comprised largely out of these 4 counties here. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. The blue is where the capital is. So these 4 counties are roughly the same of Scotland. Okay. Guess how many churches like ours are going to be founded today? 0. There are actually places where you have to travel over an hour one way to go to a closest non-Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox church. In Poland, we have that there is a very small Presbyterian denomination, and that has 4 churches. There are 2 in Warsaw, that's the capital. 1 in Krakow, which used to be our capital, and 1 in Gdańsk. If you are old enough, perhaps you remember Solidarność and Lech Wałęsa. That's the port town where this was happening. And God willing, there is going to be 1 here in Lublin. And if you look at where it is on the map, you see that it is the gateway from Ukraine. In fact, if you want to go from Ukraine or anywhere, east from Poland, from that corner, you have to go through Lublin. There is no other way. It's a main place on the track, and Lublin is a key academically, culturally, and politically for the region. Academically, why? Because there are 9 universities in our city. We think of it as something in the categories of Oxford or Cambridge. Same as culturally and politically, it is one of the main cities in Poland, and a lot of stuff is happening there. And it's a center to it's a home to nearly 500,000 people. About 340,000 people live there all the time. About 60 up to 70,000 students that come from all over, and the same number as Ukrainian refugees. And why is this relevant to us? Because many people most of the students that come to Lublin, they want to stay there, but some of them will go back where they are, because there is nothing, in terms of employment, in terms of So if you have brains, if you don't want to stay on a farm or unemployed like your family, you come to Lublin, you study, and you try to stay there. But those who come back, if they are going to hear the gospel, they are going to be the best missionaries ever. The best missionaries are always indigenous, because you know your neighbors so much better than I ever will. You know your family so much better than I ever will. Yeah, 9 universities, 60,000 students. But when it comes to how many people would self-identify as evangelicals over there, so the average for Poland is 0.3%, which means 3 out of 1,000. There are only 6 countries in Africa that have less than that, and this is one of the largest countries in Europe. And yet we have only 3 out of 1,000. Lublin Those who would self-identify is 3 times less than that. Okay, so 0.1. So in a 500,000 people city, we have about 500 people that would identify as evangelical. The labels function slightly differently. So if you, over there than here, if you were to exclude those who are liberal, which means whose stance on the Bible is slightly different to ours, and those who are charismatic, you are left only with 100. I'm not the most weepy person, but when I was thinking about it and putting these things on a paper, I wept. 100 people in a city that is 500,000 people strong, 15 times below national average, which is one of the lowest anyway. There are no Reformed Presbyterian churches in Lublin, as I said, or in the whole of Eastern Poland. Now, the last Reformed church ceased to exist in 1627. Now it's 2026. So do pray that Lublin will not reach the 400th anniversary of going without a gospel preaching Presbyterian church. What's our vision? Well, I hope I'm not going to be as old as this man in the picture, and I'll still be clearing. But that's really the kind of a work that needs to be done to begin with. But our prayer is that this is going to lead to a place, that Lublin will be a place that will be like a little hub, gospel hub, for people to go around the region. Maybe you know that I was looking for somebody to come and help me. So the Lord does answer prayers, and that came out quite unexpectedly. But that Presbyterian denomination, they have this young man, the presbytery. He's under the care of presbytery over there, studying now in a Baptist seminary. There are just 2 options there. So either very liberal Lutheran or conservative but Baptist. And he is finishing his bachelor's degree this year. And we hope that from September he's going to come over and study at Westminster Seminary, UK. Do pray for him. He's 22, and he has a very good recommendation. That he's a humble man, godly man, and very bright. And he has a heart for the gospel, to evangelize. He's the one. Well, he belongs to Krakow Church, and he's the one who's really pushing for evangelism there, which is wonderful. And he wants to come to Lublin. So prayer points. Pray that the Lord prepares hearts in Lublin to receive the gospel and grow to love the truth of His word, faithfully summarized in the Westminster Standards. You don't have to ever go to Poland, and you can be involved in that work. How? By going on your knees. The needs we have are quite great, but imagine, we want God to build something that lasts. Pray that the Lord prepares hearts of people in Lublin to receive the gospel, and give thanks for the hunger which is seen. Started a little project that once a week, every Friday, we go through a chapter of Westminster Confession of Faith with the other ministers from those churches that you have seen the dots on the map. We haven't cracked the algorithms. We don't have any marketing, advertising, nothing at all really. And we have about 200 views for each video out of nothing. Like, I don't know how. We have over 50 people subscribing to our channel. How? We really, I don't know how to crack the algorithms, but we must be looking for something like it and passing on. Yeah, pray for Piotr as a possible partner to join myself in the work of planting the church. Pray for meaningful partnerships with Presbyterian churches committed to regular support in prayer. That is key. Ask the Lord to provide suitable accommodation for the Stelmasiak family, which also would serve as an initial meeting place for the church plant. We've been looking for a flat for really long time, and yeah, we still got nowhere. And pray for us as we navigate the challenges of relocating to a new country and all that entails. The amount of paperwork and everything is a little bit overwhelming. When we moved over, it was before Brexit. We have not filed a single paper. Now each time I'm learning, you have to provide this, you have to provide that, and I'm just scratching my head thinking, who can comprehend, who can satisfy all the requirements? And this is our family. That's Joanna. That's baby Emma. She's 9 months. That's Joseph Augustine. He's 5, and that's John Zachary. You know why I quoted Augustine, Heidelberg Catechism guy. That's it. Thank you.
As you can see, there's a great need for church planting work in Poland, and certainly in particular, the city of Lublin. And so if you want to learn more and be able to support this work, head on over to gr-uk.org/churches/Lublin. Don't worry, the link will be down in the description. But over there, you can partner along with Andy on this journey. So you can sign up for his prayer newsletter to be praying for him. And also you can contribute financially to support this great work. So with that, we want to say thank you, but do continue to pray, particularly for Andy and Poland, and the spread of the gospel. Thank you.